Hey, it's Clay. Welcome to another League of Legends video. This time I wanted to do a short tips, just kind of a quick tip that I have been kind of utilizing, and I think it can be very helpful. And it is most applicable to playing bot lane, so it's a little bit of a situational tip. I do not necessarily suggest it for all lanes. Maybe top lane it could work. I'm not really sure if I would suggest it for mid lane, but I'm going to context this in bot lane if you're playing AD carrier support. And the basic tip is to, right when you get to lane, you want to shove the lane into their tower kind of as quickly as you can. And there's a couple of reasons for this. And I think that common wisdom says that, you know, when you hear like a lot of last hitting guides, people say you don't want to auto attack the creep wave because you're going to miss last hits and it's just going to go badly for you. But I found that in certain matchups, in certain situations, it can be very much to your advantage to push the creep wave. So you see that I've come to the creep wave playing Lucian. I got a Volibear on support, and I have shoved the wave. I used my Q once, and I'm just auto-attacking, even though I missed that last creep. I got, I think, all of the other ones sitting at 5 CS. I think there are 6 CS in the first wave. Using my Q again to just shove this into the tower. And there are a couple of reasons why you think this is a good thing to do. And it is a bit of a situational tactic, but it's kind of a good one to hold in your bag. There are times in which it can be to your disadvantage to kind of just let the lane sit in the middle and see what happens. And the biggest time that I think this is most beneficial is when the combination of different factors. One is when you're starting on blue side, like I am in this game, and when you are playing in a lane matchup that may not be very friendly to you. So it's not necessarily true in this game because it's Lucian on Lucian. But let's say you're playing Vayne versus Caitlyn, or some other lane matchup where it's likely that you're going to get bullied around. I don't know, maybe a Graves or a Quinn or a Sivir, another short-ranged AD carry that's going to struggle against more of a long-range poke composition. But the idea behind this is that if you are shoving the creep wave, and you're on blue side, and you're in a lane disadvantage, it can really help mitigate some of that early game disadvantage that you will likely have. Because the idea here is that if you are shoving the creep wave into their tower, the enemy is going to spend most of their time thinking about and trying to manage and deal with, you know, getting the creeps themselves, because they're not going to have time to really, you know, focus a lot of their energy and time on. Ooh, a narrow miss there to save Volibear's life. They're not going to have a lot of time and energy to focus on harassing you, so especially if you're playing against Caitlyn, who is very, very strong lane poke and harass. If you're shoving the creep wave into her, she's going to need to be using her Q to clear the minion wave to just keep up with you, instead of using her Q to harass you. And she can't be using her auto attacks to harass you because she's going to be using her auto attacks to clear the creeps. And see, I derp a little bit right here. So it can really help kind of mitigate some of that problem where you're in a bit of an unfavorable lane matchup. Oh, there does go down to that last tick of Ignite. But if you're in an unfavorable lane matchup, it can really help to kind of, because they're focusing more on last hitting and kind of keeping the creep wave at bay rather than harassing you. So it can kind of distract them, if that makes sense. And there's a couple of reasons why this works on blue side. So if you think about this blue side, there's a couple of reasons why this works. Number one is that if you get a ward into the tri-brush, so this area right here, and then if you also get a deep ward towards the jungle entrance, you have total vision control over the enemy jungler and all the paths that he could come to find you. And secondly is he will also likely start... Ooh, I get hooked again. Oh, there I had to use my barrier and my E, but I think I'm going to get out fine. But I do think I get tower dove. But anyway, sorry, I gotta keep on track because we're already past the part of the laning phase as I end up dying right here, but hopefully Volibear can make some work happen. Yes, he can. But anyway, so if you have good ward coverage, there's no way the jungler can sneak up on you, which is one of the advantages. And also, the jungler will likely start blue, and this is also one thing where it very much will help you to know jungle patterns. So for example, jungle Alistar, I believe he started on blue. So that does a couple things for you. You know that if he starts blue, it's very unlikely that he's going to try to do like a level 1 or level 2 gank right away after doing blue. Just because I would say most junglers will probably want to go over and get their red buff before they start ganking. So you know that he most likely will not come and gank you, at least right away. It'll be at least a full clear, and then he'll have to kind of recall and then head back before he can really come and gank your lane. So you've got a couple of minutes of relative safety and security where you know you probably won't be getting ganked. So that's one of the reasons why this works. Another reason is that you know, if you're shoving the lane in, you are getting early XP advantage, which is huge. One of the biggest deciding factors on success in the early game is whether or not you have XP. XP is so critical to, you know, because every time you level up, you gain a new skill, especially in the first 3 levels. That can be massive, because a lot of you know, people don't have a power spike until they gain full advantage of all of their skills. So once you finally have leveled up all of your abilities, that's really huge. Also, not even just with your abilities, but just the flat health and attack damage and mana regen, all the nice things that you get when you level up, gives you a huge advantage. That's why, you know, something like a level 2 all-in is so powerful. Well, one of the best ways to get to level 2 really fast is to just shove that creep wave in, because if the enemy is going to wait until last hit, till they get under tower, you know, they're not going to hit level 2 until, you know, well after you are. So now you're getting a level advantage. You're relatively safe from jungle ganks because of their jungle ganking patterns, and it really helps you distract them from harassing you. You know, if they're playing like a Caitlyn or anything, you know, because she's focusing on last hitting, she's not going to be focusing on harassing you. So those are kind of the basics of this tip. It is a situational thing, but you can see I've already gotten off to a nice lead. I'm 41 to 25. I'm down 2 kills, but I do have an assist, so, you know, but that's due to some other factors. But I think that my early CS lead was largely to this tactic that we used, where we were able to... Am I going to get this kill? Nope, it looks like this Volibear is, but I might not... I don't think I'm going to press for this one. But anyways, I do think that much of my success in this lane was attributed to my aggressiveness early on. And you see, right when we got to lane, we shoved it in, and because the enemy was... Ooh, there's a nice use of my ult there to pick up that kill. But because the enemy was helping to leash for the jungler, they weren't even around to try and contest our push. So we basically got a free level 2 and 3, and then the laning phase kind of officially started. So just a little tip here, if you're having trouble dealing with some more of the aggressive and you know, like a Draven or a Caitlyn champions who have very strong early game, I would say that this is a definite tip that can help you out. So I definitely think you guys should try it out. It can be very useful, and just be something that can very much help you get an early advantage in lane. And the early laning phase, I would say, is one of the more crucial times in a game, just because, especially in solo queue, games tend to go fast, and they tend to snowball more efficiently, and then players' morale gets down, and anyways, the whole thing just kind of converges together. So getting an early lead can be very helpful. So a little quick tip here, if you're playing in the bot lane. I would say that in top lane this can also work as well, just because like a level 2 all-in is so very effective. If you have good ward coverage and their jungler is a weak ganker, it can be a little bit more effective. But if you are going to shove the lane top lane, a lot of times a smart enemy can try to freeze the wave near their tower, which leaves you very vulnerable to ganks. So unless, maybe if you're playing a champion like Kennen or something like that who has a very strong escape, then it can still work. But if you're not, if you're playing a low mobility champion, I would definitely try to stay away from a strategy like this. In mid lane, the dynamics are a little bit different. I haven't really tried this very much in mid lane. I'm not really sure that it would be the most effective choice, but ooh, a nice combo there. I feel like Lucian is super bugged on this LoL replay. He just glitches out. But anyways, that's my tip. I'm going to cut it off here. I don't want to make this too long, but just give this a try. I think it can be very helpful for those of you looking for some success early on in the game. But that's all I got. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you again soon. Bye.